Hello, parents and grown-ups who listen to Minivangelism, the driver's seat. We're glad that you're with us for another Rearview Mirror episode of the driver's seat. This week, we're remembering the parable of the two sons. It's different than the prodigal son. It's two other sons, a different parable, a different story. We're glad that you're with us, and I'm especially glad because in today's episode, we get to notice how the twins we interviewed stumbled upon some pretty significant theology without even trying. It's a fun conversation. We're glad you're here to hear it. Here it comes. Hello, and welcome to Minivangelism, the driver's seat, where we talk about the Bible without the kids in the car. Today, we are talking about a parable of two sons. If the kids are in the car, go listen to something else. This one's just for adults and parents. We are looking forward today to talking about free will.
Drew's hypocritical supervision.
Anna's email etiquette, or lack thereof.
Excuse me, only Jesus has the authority to judge me.
You don't need to hold up that finger when you say that.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go. Hello, and welcome to Minivangelism, the driver's seat, where we talk about Bible stories without the kids in the car. If the kids are in the car, go listen to a Minivangelism episode. If the kids are not in the car, we're glad you're here.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome.
Commence the bad words.
No, we don't have to have bad words.
No.
But
sometimes they just happen.
They do. And it's fair. God, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. All right, so parable of these two sons or two brothers.
Yes.
I wonder, what's the version of this story you inherited?
So it borderlines on heretical. I'm kidding. I'm telling you your face just now.
Oh, I got so excited. I love a good heresy.
No, this is another one of those that I think because it's such a short parable, I'm sure I was taught it at some point.
Sure.
But I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember there being a puppet show about it or the vegetables never talked about it. Like,
right.
I don't.
Well, we've talked before about how there's a lot of two brothers stories.
Yes.
And like, if you're gonna teach or preach a two brother story, you're gonna do Jacob and Esau.
Yeah.
You're gonna do prodigal son.
Yes.
Those have more verses and are more famous. But this one, I think it has its own voice. Like, it has its own thing to say.
Well, and there's so many, you mentioned this in Minivangelism, there's so many vineyard stories, too.
Exactly.
That after a while, they all just start kind of running together.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure I inherited this story at some point.
I think you brought this to the table when we were talking about what parables. I wonder,
Yes.
like, how'd you find it?
Is this another Godspell parable?
Maybe.
I think it might be.
So that you think that's how it occurred to you?
I think so.
Okay.
Because it's not in the children's Bible.
Okay.
That we have here. I think it's just one of those that it's a good story, and it's one that I can relate to. I think pretty meaningfully, and so that's why I brought it up.
I think it's possible that the other reason why we might not have heard it a bunch growing up is where it happens, because in the Gospel of Matthew, this is right after Palm Sunday story where Jesus is welcomed in Jerusalem and the turning over the tables in the temple.
Yeah.
And those are like big action stories. But it's right after that has happened that after Jesus has made a mess, the people in charge of that place have a lot of questions.
Yes.
Which I can understand. But this is like the confrontation that happens when Jesus starts telling parables against those religious rulers.
Right.
So it's possible if you were going through the Bible, those parts of the story might have caught your attention more than this parable that he tells.
Yeah, flipping tables I'm a big Real Housewives fan, and so anytime a table gets flipped,
you're there.
I'm not going to remember the rest of the episode. I'm only going to remember when Teresa flipped the table.
Yeah.
So
part of me wishes that what happened is that Jesus didn't just flip the tables, but like did what the Buffalo Bills do and like jumped off a truck onto a 6-foot plastic table and crushed it.
What?
You know this thing?
No.
Okay, football people out there, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a tradition, like at the end of the tailgate, that somebody jumps off the truck and crushes a table as well as their elbow, and it's awesome. That's how I like my Jesus. Making a mess.
Just a plug for the rest of the series, if you have not listened to episode 5, which is our Jacob is Wrestling
Yes. Yes.
episode, feel free to go back and listen to that one.
Turns out I'm here for it.
What about you?
So for the reasons I said, I also think I didn't get much of this story growing up, and it's been fun to actually go back and look at it more closely because I think it's one that gets glossed over. So, but I have fallen in love with this parable. I think like that happens a lot. The more we look into something, the more it kind of works its way into our heart.
Yeah.
And not because it's particularly like lovely, but because it's a cool story. And I got to write a song about it, which means I got to turn 5 verses into 6. So I got to like get in the story, which is cool.
Yeah.
What makes you uncomfortable about the story?
I don't know if there's anything that makes me particularly uncomfortable about this story.
Who's the good guy in the story?
See, okay, I came into it very much being like, oh, the first one. And then in our conversation in Minivangelism, I'm like, oh, they're both bad and both good. Oh, is this an ethically gray parable?
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, I had just never thought about that.
Yeah.
Like there's an us versus them mentality. Sometimes especially when I'm reading stories where Jesus is talking to Pharisees, of just like, well, they're the bad ones. And so if he's identified Good Samaritan, there's clear good guys and bad guys in that one. You know what I mean? And then you get here and you're like, oh, or Rich Man and Lazarus, like we talked last week, like there's a clear good guy and bad guy. But then when you brought up the fact that like the first brother saying no, that was just as offensive.
Right.
Right. And so
massively offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like flipping your grandmother the bird, which your grandmother's cool. Maybe you could do that. But
have I ever flipped her the bird? No. I've said the F word in front of her.
But have you said it at her?
Not at her.
This is more like that.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Nanny.
And same thing in like the prodigal son, like asking for your inheritance before your father's dead is definitely rude. Mm-hmm. But in an ancient culture, it's a massive breach of etiquette, like criminal charges. Like,
yikes.
And so the father saying, I need you to work, and you saying, nah, is like the record needs to skip right there. And
yep, that's
like,
me.
What just happened? It's equally true that when the other brother says yes, that has almost as much weight as when the first brother actually does the work.
Right.
So the whether you say yes or no and whether you do the work or not are both weighted things. And like you said, it ends up with this kind of ethically gray scenario.
Yeah. They both break a 10 commandment.
Right.
One breaks the honor father and mother, and then the other one breaks the lying commandment.
Yeah. Yeah. And so isn't that cool how Jesus does that?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, so that will bother you if part of the faith you've inherited or the faith that you're living with is good guy, bad guy sorting kind of faith.
Well, and what occurred to me while we were recording Minivangelism, because once again, I will be honest, when I came into this parable, I suggested it because I think it's something that kids can relate to.
Yes.
This whole idea of like saying you're going to do something and not doing it.
Or parents asking you to do chores.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just came into the recording booth and was like, okay, this is what, or the van, sorry, world building. But, I kind of came into it being like, okay, I think I kind of know where I'm going. And then you started introducing stuff and I was like, oh, I don't get this story at all. But you brought up the fact that Jesus has multiple parables that involve vineyards. Mm-hmm. I think it's very telling that the two characters in this story are brothers, that they're related. Yeah. So it's not an us versus them mentality. You're from the same family. And we talked about that in Good Samaritan, right? Like the Samaritans were they had Jewish heritage, right? So these people, these tax collectors, it actually says prostitutes in there. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like the tax collectors and prostitutes, Jesus is saying to the Sadducees and Pharisees, like, they're your brother and sister.
Right. Yeah.
You're in the same family.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, he's in Jerusalem. Everybody who's there is Jews. Like, that's, they're all Jews and therefore brethren. But they might have been sorting themselves according to good Jews and bad Jews, or faithful Jews, or law-abiding Jews and law-breaking Jews. And Jesus does this thing that he does all the time and says, you're all lawbreakers.
Yeah.
So kind of breaks down the good guy, bad guy dichotomy and says, what if all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God?
It's kind of like a reminder. Do you have that like one family member that you're like, oh, why do we share DNA?
Yes. It also makes me think of, even in working relationships, sometimes so I'm a supervisor. Sometimes I will want to say something to somebody about that, needing them to do something different. And then often within a week, I will do the thing that they did that bothers me. So I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't tell them. like I need you to put this on this thing because I just did not put this on this thing. And so now they can't send me an email or my boss an email saying that I'm being asked to do stuff that Drew's not even doing. That was an insightful moment for me because part of what's messed up is when you have different expectations of others than you have for yourself. That's a thing.
I mean, I know.
Yeah.
If you think I'm not keeping a record of your sins every time I get corrected on something.
I know. Yeah. If you've got, I think it applies to parenting too. Like, we navigate that all the time where if I'm telling my kids they have to do something, but I don't have to do it, I have got to figure out how a way to navigate that. Okay.
So, confession time.
Yeah.
My husband in particular, but I have as well. We've been on this kick about like the kids keeping their rooms clean, right? Y'all need to clean your room. You need to clean your room.
Love that journey for you.
Yeah. Well, and we have one kid that like everything is in its place and super neat as soon as clothes go in the hamper or whatever. And then we have one kid who her room just looks like she's losing a game of Jumanji, like every time. Our room falls into the Jumanji category.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's so messy. And my Jumanji kid has straight up called us out.
Yeah.
Like when we've been like, can you please go upstairs? No, you're not going to get to do this until that room is clean. Well, you're doing it. Your room's not clean. Like just
yeah. And
how are you going to come at me about this?
Right. And in this story, Jesus is the supervisee or the Jumanji kid.
Yes.
That has all these accusations and says, but hold on, you're not actually living up to the same standard you're having for others. You might say yes with your lips, but your hearts are far from me.
Right.
And so Jesus is the one accusing them of being just as guilty as the ones that they have a problem with.
Yeah. But the difference is Jesus is, like you said, he's talking and walking.
He's the only one with the authority to judge.
Yeah.
It bears repeating. He's the only one with authority to judge.
I know.
Which I think it's just huge. And that's why it's all over the Bible. And it's also one of the things that I think is most consistently missed by religious people.
Yeah.
That what binds us together is not that we are better than others or have authority to judge others. What binds us together is that we are all under the authority of Jesus, who is the only one who has authority to judge and nonetheless grants mercy. Like that's what we're doing here. And it's just so alternative to how we naturally function, which is we might be brothers. What we keep score of who's the better brother.
Right.
And we're quick to accuse one another, but in reality, we all stand accused. We're all ethically gray, at best, sometimes get it right, sometimes get it wrong. And I think the other kind of contemporary thing that it applies to is purity culture.
Oh, we gonna go there today?
Well, I'll give you a menu. Purity culture, identity politics, or parenting. Like, once you start to see this in Jesus's ministry in the scriptures, you start to see it everywhere, where so much is about kind of king of the hill, but especially with regard to judgment, or self-righteousness. And it's just the water we swim in, which is why every once in a while the church says, get out of the water and come to church, so that you can be granted mercy that you actually don't, by the letter of the law, deserve.
Right. Or mercy that you don't want to extend to other people.
Right. So whenever the demand for purity, is what gets Jesus killed.
Right.
Whenever the demand for purity happens in religious circles, we have abandoned Jesus. And when we think that in our politics, we are pure enough to be able to dehumanize the people who disagree with us, we've abandoned our ability to do politics well.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was I made those 3 small soapboxes, and I can get off them now.
I mean, I don't mind tap dancing on them anymore. If you want to keep tap dancing on them, you know my soapbox when it comes to purity culture. Because I grew up in the 90s or in early 2000s in youth group. And so shame is a thing. But so speaking of purity culture, one of the funny things when I was interviewing the twins is in the Bible, it says like tax collectors and prostitutes are getting in to heaven or before you. And Estella was reading it and she goes, one of her questions was, so if the tax collectors and prostitutes, and I was like, can we just say sinners?
You should just go with it.
And she was like, why? What is a prostitute? And I was like, it's not for me to say.
That's the blessing of a kid who can read without knowing the word.
Isn't it, though? Yeah. God bless 4th grade.
Gateway to literacy. Fantastic.
I mean, those little Bibles, their little Bibles they bring their Bibles to church every week.
Yeah.
And, like, they're highlighted. The notes are there. Like, it's so cute.
Which Bibles do they have?
The Spark Bibles that we hand
has
out.
The whole Bible or has Bible stories?
It's the whole Bible.
Okay, so that's why prostitutes made the cut in that children's Bible.
Yeah, it's
because it's the whole Bible. Okay.
It's just the whole NRSV.
It's not a little cartoon with a little worm in the corner. And it says, these money stealers and prostitutes.
Yes.
All right, they have the more advanced Bible.
They have the adult Bible that has kid-friendly questions in the margins.
Yeah, but apparently not the question, what's a prostitute?
No. I don't know. My
it's a little asterisk that says, ask Miss Anna.
Yes. Lady of the night.
Oh, it means lady of the night. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I don't know.
So what did you say?
What did I say that a prostitute was?
Yeah.
I said it was a particular type of sin. Just like the tax collectors were considered sinners. It was just a fancy name for a particular type of sin.
Nice.
And that was all I said. And then
your parents are waiting. See you later.
I did. And then I saw their mom after church, after the interview. And I was like, hey, so prostitutes came up in conversation today.
Yeah. That's funny.
You're going to have a conversation with your kid.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think that this just othering of people and when we talk about like deconstruction in the church, right? And how a lot of people are leaving, it's the hypocritical othering that is what's driving people away.
Right.
In droves. Honestly. I mean, there have been so many articles written about like, why are people leaving the church? Why are people not coming back? You know, why are all this stuff? And if you actually talk to someone, they'll say it's just, they felt judged. They felt hurt. They felt, and the argument that is coming from Christians is, especially when people talk about church hurt, I've heard, oh, they're just deconstructing because they want to be able to sin without consequences. Or people were finally holding them accountable. That's not church hurt. That's just accountability or whatever. Yeah. And that's not true.
First of all, there's no sin without consequences.
Yeah.
I have the receipts. And yeah, that's messed up.
Because, I know of so many people that have made, honest to God, just mistakes.
Yeah.
But are afraid to come into the church because they're just afraid that they're going to be, judged.
Which is why anytime a church is a failure, is supposed to be a failure-free environment, it's no longer a church.
Right.
The only people allowed in church are failures. That's how Jesus, like, the prostitutes and tax collectors are already in heaven. And look at you, like there's an old preacher story that a kid tells his father, I don't want to go to church anymore. It's full of hypocrites. And the father turns at him and says, well, there's always room for one more.
I love that.
To the extent that the church feels like it needs to pretend it's perfect.
Right.
It won't work.
Yeah.
There's even one of my favorite writers can't stand most church websites.
Why is that?
Because the pictures we put on church websites are of all these smiling, happy people.
Yeah.
That look like they have their life together. Like perfect, sprinkling of diversity and like all these things. And she can't really describe what kind of website she would want. But the only thing she can say is, I need a website that tells me I can be a screw up and belong.
Yeah.
I think that's like the holy grail of evangelism, is only screw ups allowed. Only the sinners and the sinned against allowed. I think that's part of what Jesus is saying with this parable. And that's the only way for these Sadducees to enter the kingdom of heaven is on their knees, having been humbled
right
by what Jesus had to say to him. But ultimately they refuse to do that. And it takes him coming back from the dead to convince them otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
So the twins, they had a lot. That was like a 21-minute interview that I did with them. And
You're a master editor.
I cut it down. Yeah. Thank you, Dave, for cutting that interview down. But there was one question that they asked that I cut out of the interview, but I wanted to save it for driver's seat.
Okay.
Because it kind of builds on what we talked about last week.
All right.
Now, last episode, they have not listened. At the time of the recording, they had not listened to the rich man and Lazarus.
Okay.
So this was totally on their own that they asked this question. If God wants people to believe in him, what happens to those people who never believe? What happens to the one that says, no, I'm not going in the vineyard, and then doesn't go in the vineyard?
Yeah.
And then that was, I think it was Estella was just like, do they go to heaven? What happens?
What do you think?
I asked you first.
Yeah, but you have a voice in this.
I think that grace extends eternally. But I am still figuring it out. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we will ever know until we get there. Yeah. I don't think we know on this side of the ground fully. But I believe in mercy and I believe in grace. And I believe that God loves us so much that he can't just let us go. That pursuit will continue for as long as it takes.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to ignore our autonomy I don't want to make it sound like God grabs us by the hair and just drags us into the vineyard eventually. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
that's St. Paul's
happens.
testimony.
It is, I guess. But he still had to make that decision at some point. He was blinded and thrown off a horse and all that stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It still wasn't under pain of death.
Right.
I don't know. I'm figuring out, and I didn't know how to answer that to them. And I was like, well, what do you think?
Brilliant move.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that tip there. Estella's response was, I think that she's like, I think when they die, they go to heaven, but it's like not heaven. It's like heaven until they figure it out, and then they go. And I was like, oh, so purgatory.
She inceptioned purgatory.
And then Adelaide was like, I don't think that you die until you know Jesus. She's like, I think that you just live for as long as you want. And then like, once you figure it out, then it's okay to die. And I was like, oh, okay.
I kind of love that.
I know, right?
I kind of love that.
Yeah. That was their, just on their own, their mom was like, listen, I did not prep them.
Yeah.
The little Post-it notes they had written is in my handwriting because I was just scribing for them. But like, I did not talk to them about this at all.
Yeah.
That was their own little imaginations coming up with that.
Okay, so you don't get to die until you know Jesus. Oh, I love that.
That he's going to reveal himself to you.
Yes.
It's like Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is Paul's testimony, is that Jesus revealed himself to Paul.
And it's honestly it's that and Adelaide's purgatory.
Estella's
purgatory inception. Neither of them are far off from what the bulk of Christian tradition has said. Mm-hmm. One is that we've talked about this before, like anyone can be granted entry into heaven, but not everything. Mm-hmm. And so part of the implication is that you may die, but you won't experience heaven until you've been changed. But notice the passive voice there, that this is something that God is doing. Mm-hmm. And a different version of saying that is God won't let you die until you know Jesus. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I love that.
I know, right? She gets 2 high fives on Sunday.
They're just awesome. I think part of like the original question, what if you never believe? We don't know anyone who never believed. Never is too big a word for us to know about.
I see.
So we don't know anyone who never believed. We won't know until the end of forever. Uh-huh. And clearly Christ has revealed himself as Lord of the living and the dead. And so you may die. Yes, that doesn't mean that Jesus can't still get to you. So the part of what happens around these kinds of questions is we downplay the nature of eternity.
Right.
Like, we don't actually know anybody who never believed because we've never seen the end of ever.
Right.
And so hope springs eternal. And then what they reveal in their answers is ultimately they think it's up to God, and ultimately God can get what God wants.
Yeah.
And amen, I say to that.
Yeah.
Because their reasoning around it has to do with what they know about God. Mm-hmm. To use like the vineyard imagery, mm-hmm. like God's plan with the vineyard is to fill the whole earth with that vineyard.
Yeah.
So are you never going to work in the vineyard? What if the vineyard is all that there is? Then suddenly you find yourself dwelling in the vineyard because it has overgrown its bounds to include you in it. That's all of these kind of organic images are from Jesus are these overflowing images of growth and to some degree conquest. Mm-hmm. But what's conquering the world is the grace of God. Right. Which is stronger than our will. Now, you brought up like autonomy and free will, and that might have to happen in a different episode. But I'll just point out that I don't believe in free will. Because I need a God who can bend my will. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I'm going to get saved. Like, that's the only way I have confidence. And it's my testimony too, is that that what God has changed about me is my will to follow God. Mm-hmm. God did that. I didn't just muster the intent to do this. I was changed. Like, that's like the passive voice in it. Mm-hmm. So free will isn't actually like a doctrine of the church. It's something that we kind of suppose, but ultimately my hope is that my will is not entirely free, because if it's free, I'm never going to choose God.
Yeah.
At best, I'll say that I do, and then I'll go do something else.
You'll be the second brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I depend on a power that can bend my will.
Right.
And within the parable, it's the fact that Jesus is the one who is the perfect vineyard worker who both says yes and does it. Mm-hmm. He's the one who wins the authority to judge, and with that authority grants mercy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. But yeah, I think the free will conversation is going to have to happen in another episode, or maybe just one-on-one. Right.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Because I think, like free will and consent, I don't think are the same exact thing. Because, like, do you want to go down that rabbit hole and edit it out later?
Let's just have that conversation off mic.
Okay.
And then, I think that needs to be like we have the conversation, and then we find a Bible story from Minivangelism and be like, okay, we're back. Yeah.
At best, in this parable, both brothers, the will of both brothers is mixed.
Yes. But they both made a choice. One brother said he wasn't going to do it and made a choice to go. And then the dad did not come back and say, I don't care what you said, right? You gonna get in that vineyard and do it, right? I always ask my kids to do a chore before I say, well, I wasn't really asking, get in there, right? Because they always say no. But then the other brother that said yeah made a choice, and when he was caught slacking off, wasn't then told, get your butt in that vineyard. You know what I mean? Like, he made a choice.
Well, so what do you think, to ask one of the I wonder questions, what do you think changed the first son's mind?
I think it was his love for the father changed his mind. I remember one time.
And where does his love for the father come from?
His heart.
It comes from the love of the father.
Yes. I remember one time I mouthed off to my mama.
One time?
Well, this one time in particular, I mouthed off to my mom, and the hurt in her eyes really, like, it still sits with me a little bit. You know what I mean?
She had been practicing that hurt look in her eyes in the mirror so long.
But here's the thing. She doubled down. Or I didn't. I doubled down on it because I was like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And I left her room, and because I just mouthed off to her and I stormed into my room. And my father was behind me and basically was like, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. Right? Yeah. And it was when I saw that I had hurt both of my parents. You know what I mean? That's when I tucked my tail in the legs. I was like, I'm really sorry. I should have done that. You know what I mean? But like, I think that's what caused that son to change his mind, was just realizing that he had hurt his dad, or seeing all the work that needed to be done. One of those two. I don't know. What would have made you change your mind?
Well, before I go to that, what you just told is a parable of the crucifixion. That part of what Jesus is doing in dying on the cross is revealing to us the hurt that we've done. in such a way that we realize and regret the fact that we chose, our free wills chose to kill God. And the resurrection is the Father saying, you're not going to do that to my son. I'm going to pull him back up and give him back to you.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I think, like, you're going to send me to therapy again, but like the number one thing that changes my mind about anything is what people are going to think about it. Yeah. And that's not my best will, like that's not my best thinking. What has actually, but overall, I think I ascribe the change to something that I was given. And there are stories of that, but but a change of heart. So this is like part of what the tradition of the church, depending on what tradition you're from, is going to have a different answer to this. Mm-hmm. If a change of heart happens, does it happen because you choose to change your heart, or is your heart changed from something outside of you? And
why can't it be both?
Because it's just not.
Says who?
Says the Protestant movement.
He wins again with Protestantism.
But this is just the fun of theology, is like we're on a kids podcast and we're getting to age-old questions about how all this is put together. But generally, the tradition that I am a part of, and I think gets it right, says you better hope that your will is not free. And because it's not free, you have hope. Because it can be changed from outside of you.
Yeah.
Your will about whether or not you feel sorry for what you did to your parents, that was a change that was brought from outside of you. Right. Like you had to receive some kind of news in order to have a change of heart. So I don't want to get into like how many angels can balance on the edge of a pin, but I do think it's significant because of the degree to which our culture right now assumes that there's nothing outside of us. Yes. And instead, you have to, reach inside yourself and discover your true self. And when actually, I think the way to help comes from outside of us. Being dependent on a higher power, as they say in AA. So that's part of why I think it matters. Because as long as you're trying to save yourself, you're going to give up.
It's exhausting.
Yes.
As someone who has tried to do that multiple times.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And you're never good enough. You can't do it.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Like the purity culture in our heads is a killer. And it doesn't actually want us to get better. It wants to find the next thing to judge. And so either we judge ourselves that way or we start judging others that way. But it takes a third kind of son to give us something that we can't get for ourselves. Yeah. Wow. That we covered some territory there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think anybody's still with us? I'm having the best time. I don't know if anybody else is, but I'm having the best time. This is why I don't care how many people listen to this podcast. I just enjoy getting to have somebody to talk to about this stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome. And the thing I love about this podcast is that I find so many other ways that I don't have to be good at my job. My email signature moving forward is only God can judge. Only Jesus has the authority to judge me. Whenever you send me something, hey, I'm going to follow up on that thing that I asked you to do 3 months ago. Only Jesus has the authority to judge me.
That implies that you reply to an email. There's a finger in the van.
Yeah, you know what? That won't get us an explicit rating.
Oh, that's a joke. She does reply to emails.
No, I don't.
When she wants. When she's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you've had a change of heart.
An external force has to make me send that email. And that's normally an email from my boss that says, hey, you need to send this email.
Oh.
Or a snide comment in staff meeting. You know what?
We're laughing. All right, last question. Do you think you'll ever talk to your kids about this? And if so, what do you want to remember?
I think I will talk to my kids about this. One, because they listen to the podcast. I think that this revelation that I've kind of had through what you've said about how both brothers did something right and both brothers did something wrong. And you kind of say, it's a very like Dr. Seussian thing that you used in the song where you were like, what's done is done, what's past is past, right? We're not going to think about, we've made a mistake, move forward, right?
Yeah.
Let's move forward with this. And, that second son didn't go work in the vineyard that day. Maybe he went another day, right? Maybe when he saw the other brother working, we don't know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And I think inviting your kids to continue the story is something that's really fun to do. We kind of played with that with the twins when they were just like, okay, so what's their deal? Mm-hmm. Are they twins? Is one older? Is one younger? Like, what's going on? Like, they were trying to figure out all of the family dynamics in this, like while we were just like sitting there and talking about it in the interview. And I just think that it's a fun space to play in with your kids.
Yeah.
It's just an open-ended story.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. What about you?
I think it's tempting to, like, when I ask my kids to do something and they don't do it, to say, well, maybe you'll be like that one son that changed his mind and actually ultimately did the right thing. It's tempting to do it like that. I think part of my parenting experience in the last week actually has me remembering that sometimes my child is one of the brothers and I'm the other brother. And we have both failed each other and failed our father. And to not assume that I'm just the father in the story. And I think, like, I've been pondering a lot about what does it mean to apologize to my kids? When's the right time to do it? How often can I do it before they start to worry about me? Like,
I know which one of your children would like really be concerned if you were like vulnerable enough to apologize, and I know the other one that would be like, yeah, you should.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is, like, I can't apologize assuming that it will do anything for them. Because I've got one kid that could pretty much care less how I'm feeling. So part of what I'm wrestling with is, do I need to apologize? Like, for me? Yeah. And so...
Well, and I think that if you apologize to your kid, it may not mean much to them in the moment, but when they're older...
Right.
It will, right? I view parenting as I'm training my kids on how they should be treated by other people. Mm-hmm. And so when your child is in a friendship or a relationship with somebody that never apologizes, right? They're going to be able to pick up that that's a red flag. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that I think I do, like, it just helps me reflect on parenting, but, like, I think part of what I value is trying to help the kids see the vineyard that we're trying to farm. Yeah. To say, like, part of why we're doing this is because we actually like this, or because as a family we care about this. Mm-hmm. To try to help us see the bigger picture rather than because I said so. So that even our interactions with one another aren't based on my authority. They're based upon, like, shared hopes and values and goals. And I even hesitate to say that because I'm going to go home right now and say because I said so. But I think it's part of how...
Sometimes because I said so is sometimes Jesus just needs to knock Paul off the horse.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But I think that's part of how it hits me this week vis-a-vis my kids.
Right.
I do think it might be fun once they've listened to the episode to like say, let's talk about chores.
Yeah.
And how are chores like this story and how are they not like this story, and use it as a way to think about our life together.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be fun for about 30 seconds and then it'll go off the rails. But that's how it goes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good. Well, thanks for listening. If you did.
Thanks for those of you who are still here.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna, for giving me a chance to geek out theologically and reflect parentally.
I love it.
That's good. Again, this is all of this is very good for me. So thank you.
I mean, this is okay. Let's be honest with our listeners. This is really like how the podcast started.
Yeah, it is.
Was just like, you know what? I bet other people would want to listen to this conversation.
Yeah, they might. Or if we had a podcast, we would have an excuse to regularly have these conversations.
Exactly.
So that works. Thanks, everybody. Hope you heard something that blessed you. And we look forward to talking again soon.
Yes. And if you have any questions or comments, or you also want to be a part of this conversation about free will versus not free will, you are welcome to send us an email to minivangelism@gmail.com. We've gotten a couple of really good emails from adults with questions about the things that they are hearing. So feel free to send us an email. I will reply to it, or now that Drew has made a comment, he'll reply to it. And also, we would encourage you to follow us on Instagram. You can find us at Minivangelism. There we post some highlight reels. We post behind the scenes stuff. So feel free to join us over there on social media. And then once again, if you're looking for a church home, we are a part of Grace United Methodist Church in Manassas, Virginia. Our services can be streamed on Facebook and also at umcgrace.org.
Yeah. Until next time, God bless you.
Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Minivangelism and the Driver's Seat are hosted by Anna Burrell and Drew Colby. Theme song written by David Burrell and produced by Evan Setzer. The theme song was performed by David Burrell, Drew Colby, and Evan Setzer. Podcast, sound design, and editing done by David Burrell. Minivangelism and the Driver's Seat are a ministry of Grace United Methodist Church in Manassas, Virginia. For more information, check out umcgrace.org.